Pena. Oh, I don't know. Not she doesn't just not just put that America Pena. Yes, my mother has, and I most likely have been accused of illegal monies, and they have gone outside the court of law in their processes and even tortured us. Multiple organized robberies without a seizure warrant, and essentially have been made out to have thousands of dollars of illegal monies, which to me means drug trafficking, I guess. Well, I guess Bex are because I'm here. Nine. Well, America Pena is also a victim, and my mother, so she is one of the third parties. Um, the neighbors in RGC are other third parties that can attest to formal investigations that involved that that were being made and out of deliberately false accusations. I don't know. Well, for myself, wait, can you not do more than one? Oh, they're only doing one, I guess. There's so many. So yeah, I guess I just realized that I could probably send you this video and it'll be easier to explain to you besides me having to repeat myself. I have repeated the story so many times in the past 2.5 years or so that I am at the point where I am asking myself, is dead safer than being tortured alive? Because the way that these operations that are happening outside of the court of law, they are so severely biased against me and my well-being after everything I've seen, that there is no honor in what actions are being inflicted upon me. So yes, I got your contact through Google. I was Googling, why is my YouTube payment disabled? So I can make so on YouTube, as a community engagement, you can contribute like $2, $5, payments to a creator, and leave a comment. So I did that today, and so for whatever reason I cannot make a payment for one particular comment in one particular creator, and I don't understand why that's happening. So it sort of triggered my own research into my bank account. I called my bank account and they said that no, your cards aren't frozen. So then why don't I have access to at least, I don't have to make the payment. I don't even have to pay them anything, but I'm not even able to access that frame. It's being disabled. Normally, if your card declines, the payment won't go through. But I'm not even able to access the actual payment. So I'm trying to understand why that's happening. Is that Google, the company, YouTube, like disabling my ability to purchase, or is this the creator somehow, or is this like hacking? Because for example, my family made multiple police reports about robberies that were happening to us. My HIV documents, my mother's, my parents' marriage and financial documents, and their medical documents as well. And then my laptop and my Nintendo Switch. So all of these reports were made against cyber division related law enforcement employees because they are the only ones equipped with the knowledge to make certain use of these new technologies that are essential to complete the type of robbery that they're trying to do, because all of these robberies are technically linked. They can break into cars, they can break into a room that's locked by a computer. Essentially anything that's a computer related item, they are breaking into it without a seizure or warrant. One of the main problems is that today I found out that my Google account, this was one of the police reports made. There was a Mac computer. I don't own a Mac computer, and it was on my Google account, and it said that it was on my Google account. It's one of the devices. It's on a photo. It's probably in a police report. If it's not, then they're not including it. I have this photo on my person. I gave it to St. Philip's College where I was going to nursing school last year, showing them signs that my digital devices were being compromised and that there was identity theft. Another thing is that last year, around $2,000 of a refund that was meant to go to my bank account was diverted to another bank account unrelated to me. So the school got involved and made an identity theft report where essentially they were also claiming as well that they did believe that my accounts were compromised since that money I never had access to it. It went to someone else. And the only way to have access to that money is to use my personal identity information. So I do not know if this person was some sort of random person or I believe it could be that they were affiliated with the other law enforcement employees in the cyber division that have essentially deprived me of any normal sexual conversation through the phone or anything of that nature for the past 1,000 days. There was an accusation. Essentially, we're here in San Antonio now, but my parents were living in Rio Grande City, about 4 hours south, like 2 years ago, and I was living in San Antonio prior to that. So when I moved home, there are certain accusations that came along, and then somehow my mother became the target victim of a deportation because they were claiming that she was having illegal monies, and it's a very stupid claim, but that's what they claimed. So the neighbors in that town essentially told my mom, "You're being investigated for having illegal monies." And everyone started to have some sort of accusations. Not everyone. Let me simplify it. Basically, it was all done covertly, yet it was obvious to everyone in the neighborhood. There are third parties involved that they probably could have said that, hey, this really did happen. My mother was being accused of having illegal monies because then they ran through this investigation that involved my mother and I being literally tortured through some plumbing expert covert law enforcement guy that was allowed to get into a duplex apartment next door, and they were literally controlling the warm water whenever my mother and I would shower, literally only when we showered, because there were other times throughout the day that we would turn on the faucet as a form of evidence. Okay, we're going to turn it on. The warm water doesn't work. I mean, it did work. It's only when we were going to shower that they would literally know how to turn it off. So that means A, they are using new technologies to organize robberies. B, they are using new technologies to pinpoint the exact body position of a person in a room. And C, knowing that information, they are using abuse tactics against victims like turning off the warm water. See, all of this, it is the most sickening, darkest, vile piece of shit type of action that you could do. It's absolutely ghetto. And my mother and I don't deserve this. So her being accused of having illegal monies led to so many traumatic events in the past 3 years that I am literally calling the LGBT hotlines. I don't know if I'm safe or dead because I'm being tortured alive outside the court of law without any regulation. This is the most unimaginable thing that you could imagine happening to someone. So, even if I don't get to really understand why I'm not able to make this Google purchase, it's still in the same realm of like, why is this happening to me? Because it's abuse. So we've spoken to other attorneys. They've told us that there are they either publish articles or they told us in person that they are new technologies that allows this type of surveillance. But it's sort of incredible to think that they can use this new tech to the point where you are literally abusing someone to death over untrue merits. Because you would say even if the death penalty was legal, at least it would be in the court. But all of this is happening outside the court of law. If I deserve to be killed, then fucking kill me. But I don't deserve that. That is the issue that's happening with me and my mom. We are essentially being deprived of any civil rights, any independence. We don't want to engage with these people, so they moved in next door. We're in 6923 San Pedro in town suites, extended hotel stay, and I went to nursing school this past year. That is a whole nother can of worms. Essentially, the main problem here is there was someone legitimately in my Google account. It did not belong to me. How am I supposed to know their identity and if it is related to law enforcement? Because essentially, if it's law enforcement, then that is clear interference. That these are, it's just another thing to add to the pile of interferences that they've had. And now this thing where I'm not able to make a comment purchase, it feels like I'm being censored by the Google. And I called my bank account and they said, no, your cards aren't frozen. So essentially, if my card is not disabled, then why am I not even able to have access to purchase this thing? It feels anti-justice is what it feels like. What is this? What is the sounding or criminal investigation for? For well, it's illegal monies. That's what they said. I mean, I have lost hope in humanity. Honestly, the only kindness that I've known are the people who are actually honest about these things that happen to us. Everyone else, everyone else is heartless. Where is the illegal monies thing here? I don't. I'll just type it. Illegal monies in bank account. I guess that's a form of fraud, isn't it? I guess. Let's see. Illegal monies. Why doesn't it? It just doesn't go through. Injury to a child. I guess fraud. Wait, go back. Did I skip something? Please describe the situation below. The more details, the better. All information is kept confidential. That doesn't really matter. Oh, I just said, everything I just said answers this question. Um, Anything that I'd like to add? Let's see. Yeah, here's the thing is, one second. Tú puedes hablar cuando quieras. So my mom again is also involved in the investigation, quote unquote, about having illegal monies. So I asked her to speak on her part, and I can translate it in English. So in 2025, we 2024 when we moved to San Antonio, sometime April or March, um, there were a vehicle, a Sonic small car vehicle. The the back door, not the back door, but the trunk door. When we would go, for example, to a grocery store, when we would return, it would either be A, unlocked, or the trunk door was left open, propped open. These are things that they are you these are so what I'm trying to say is we made the report of these events happening. However, it's very likely that when we made those reports, it didn't really matter because either the person who was making the report was told things against us or they just didn't care for the truth. What we think is likely is that it was the person who has cyber division related knowledge. They are willingly just abusing people by opening those doors for them whenever whenever you're not occupying the car, which is the exact frame of thought that was involved in robbing our property from inside the living space that my parents pay for at the extended stay of suites. So they are essentially this happened literally almost every time that we would go out. So when at one point we realized, hey, we're missing stuff in this room, and that is when we started making more police reports because more things were missing. So we haven't heard any updates on that. I don't know that they will. I made a report with the supposed internal affairs investigative people, but how can I, people are going to not, some people are not going to trust that because they are essentially investigating themselves. So I don't really know the nature of that, but that's probably the opinion of people. um,
Soy América Peña. Me han robado en múltiples ocasiones. Dentro del carro, en el hotel, en el apartamento donde estábamos en Río Grande. Documentos de mi esposo, documentos míos, documentos del VA, documentos del banco, fecha de nacimiento, acto
el,
de
la
matrimonio,
cosa de la CIA,
también
alfombra.
una colchoneta de la silla de ruedas hace una semana. La sacaron del carro. No sé con qué propósito lo hacen o qué beneficio obtienen de todo lo que han hecho, porque es un robo a la propiedad privada abrir los carros. Cuando tuve que llevar el carro Sonic al taller de mecánica de la Chevrolet, le encontraron doble alarma, cosa que es inusual porque tenía la alarma extra que no era la original, o sea, el carro tenía dos alarmas y eso es imposible. Son muchas cosas que estamos viviendo con personas que se dedican a hacer crímenes de robo y hurto a propiedad privada. Y tenemos que hacer un paro a todas estas violencias contra personas como
Y acusación
nosotros
del dinero.
y acusaciones de dinero falso, cosa que no es cierto.
Dile
Y
del
por, y
banco.
por todas partes me han estado persiguiendo como fuera una crimen, como fuera una criminal, cosa que no es el derecho humano. Tenemos todo el derecho a tener la libertad de expresión, de movernos a todas partes sin esa persecución.
Di lo que te dijo la empleada ya.
Cuando fui al banco me estuve investigando la cajera del banco de Río Bank. Me hace la pregunta, ¿está sacando dinero para pagarle a los trabajadores? Una pregunta que en realidad era capciosa, con mala intención. Yo no tengo trabajadores para que ella me esté preguntando cosas así. Nunca he tenido trabajadores. Son preguntas capciosas con malas intenciones para hacer de uno una imagen que no es. Gracias.
Um, uh, Let me know about any support that you can give. Uh, I am just trying to make it throughout the day without essentially being abused any further. I already visit HIV doctors, and when I tell them this, it seems like they are likely to believe me because I even got therapy sessions through the HIV clinic. And the person that I was speaking to, they're saying that they are advocates for people who suffer domestic violence, particularly, for example, if they were married to like a police officer, and that they have heard of this happening to other clients. Well, at least the part in like someone who's like married to a police officer, and that they are being like, like surveilled outside the court of law because either it's the wife or the husband and they're doing this to someone, and all of this, that's more like, romantic affairs, but it does happen to domestic violence victims. So it is very parallel to our situation because we don't engage with these people, and yet we have to live every day for the past 3 years, and who knows for how long, to not only be robbed, but knowing that it's unlikely that any justice is really going to happen when we're living in Texas and there's a far right wing political nature of it. So that's sort of where we're at. Like, we've spoken to civil rights attorneys about these accusations, and they say yes, you have a civil rights case and these things are happening. They're telling us to compile evidence because a lot of people are going to want to cover up because they're more politically affiliated with people like that. Like, they want to cover up these robberies. So my mom was just adding that she mentioned in Spanish that she took the Sonic Chevrolet vehicle to be seen because of the unusual function that there was a whenever you would open the car door, there was an insufferable type of alarm that would just activate and that was not there. So again, it was never there when I used it, and it only was installed in Rio Grande City. So clearly, someone who had already hacked the vehicle, um, they um, they were able to install it. So she was saying that the mechanics were saying that this alarm was installed. It was an aftermarket installation, and given the fact that neither of us installed and it started in Rio Grande City, and they hadn't. They essentially, the people that were quote unquote investigating did that. These are the type of tactics that they use to harm civilians. We've been essentially hate crimed over things that actually didn't happen. My mother has never had any illegal monies, and neither have I. So, for this to go so far into the realm of literal torture, it's inconceivable that this is happening unless, unless these people literally mean to make us live in Russia under some sort of dictatorship of abuse. That's always the case apparently here.